Who is a financial executive who has worked in the retail industry for many years, often helping founders and entrepreneurs to grow and control their businesses. Howie, good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about your story. You mentioned that you help entrepreneurs grow and control their businesses. The growing piece of it makes perfect sense to me. How do you help an entrepreneur control his or her business?
Well, oftentimes an entrepreneur is the creative force behind a good idea. They are very capable of taking their idea to a certain level, and at some point the business grows and you need to call in help. I've worked for 4 different founders, entrepreneurs. They're all very good people, very talented people, very creative people. Many times they do not like to deal with the minutia and financial administrative details that I enjoy.
Now, you had mentioned off air that you are an accountant by training. I know that there is a concept of financial control versus accounting control. What value do you add in the process? A little bit of both, or one versus the other?
Yeah, a little bit of both. My forte is in the process and efficiencies and cost savings and kind of growing at a proper pace. Entrepreneurs are fast forward, love to make quick decisions, often have never worked with anyone else or reported to anyone else, so their decision is final and not often well thought out.
So let me parrot back to you what I think you're saying. Most entrepreneurs will want to grow, and arguably it will be different if you're growing at 100% of your base is $10 a year versus 10% at $1,000 a year. But what you're saying is if the entrepreneur wants to grow at 90% per year to put his or her name on the map, you're there to sort of rein him or her in a little bit and say, let's go for measured control growth as opposed to trying to hit a grand slam when we are up at the plate every time.
Yeah, absolutely. There are obviously financial constraints on what type of capital is available for growth, and the history and the marketplace, all are factors that need to be evaluated that oftentimes an entrepreneur just relies upon themselves and instinct and intuition.
And you mentioned that you've worked for 4 entrepreneurs in the past few years. What industries have you worked in?
It's been a few in the apparel industry. One was in the closeout, and one was in imported giftware. Each one was kind of a unique circumstance. One of the closeout places, we worked very hard to obtain some financing, spent it what we thought was wisely and prudently on store fixtures, which would help us grow the business, and then the 9/11 tragedy happened, and all the plans kind of went out the window.
So for the benefit